Okay, well, welcome back. We're talking 2-5 literal equations, the last video. So now we're talking about formulas. Formulas is an equation that states the relationship between two different quantities. Okay, so some of the formulas that we've used, or we're going to use relatively quickly here, is first off perimeter. Perimeter means distance around something. Okay, so perimeter of a rectangle is going to be P equals, and we have two lengths of a rectangle and we have two widths of a rectangle. So together that would make the perimeter. We're going to add them all together, which would make the perimeter of a rectangle. Circumference, which is really the perimeter, but it's the perimeter of a circle. Okay, so we're going to talk about circumference of a circle is going to be 2 pi r. Okay, that is the circumference around a circle, distance around a circle. Okay, area of a rectangle, A for area, is equal to the length times the width. That's how much space a rectangle would take up. Okay, the area of a triangle, which is how much space a triangle would take up, is A for area, is equal to 1/2 its base times its height. Sorry, I got a little cursive B there going. Okay, the area of a circle, again, how much space a circle takes up, is equal to pi r squared. Okay, distance, which is kind of like how far did you travel, is represented by d, distance, equals your r, which is your rate, times your time. Okay. Temperature, now this is one that you haven't seen very much, or you might have seen it in science class, it just depends on what you remember, is Celsius. Okay, so that's the temperature in Celsius, is equal to 5/9 the Fahrenheit temperature minus 32. Okay, so that's the Celsius, or the conversion from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Okay, so all those formulas you're going to use. And so we're going to start talking about that. What is the length of a rectangle? So first off, we're talking rectangle. So one of the first things you should do is start drawing pictures. So we have a rectangle here that I drew for you already. They're telling us it has an area of 98 square centimeters. So I'm going to go ahead and write area 98. Okay, and the base is 14. So what they're telling us that we have this side here that's 14. We want to know what the length is, so we're going to guess that that's what they're talking about here. Okay, what is that length? Alright, so as soon as we talked about it being the length and we had an area, we want to go ahead and write up the area is equal to length times width. Okay, now we could solve for L here, or we can just plug in the known values. So we're going to plug in the knowns. They said the area was 98, so I'm going to write 98. We don't know our length, so let's move on to the width. The width was 14, the base, and then our length. Okay, so here's our formula. Here's the equation that we made out of it. So now we're back into that one-step equations. All we have to do is divide by 14 to both sides. 98 divided by 14 is 7. 14 over 14 makes 1, leaving us with L. So we have 7 equals the length. Okay, so we know that this is 7 inches, okay, by the 14 inches. Okay, well, we want to check our work. So how do we check our work? Well, we plug in what we know. We know its area is 98. We now know that the length is 7, so we're going to plug that in. And we're going to multiply that by the 14, which was the width. Okay, 7 times 4 is 28. Carry the 2. 7 times 1 plus 2 is 9. So we get 98 equals 98. It does check out. Okay. So let's look at example 5. Example 5 says Karen walks 3 miles per hour and covers 12 miles. For how long did she walk? Okay, well, obviously we're talking miles, we're talking distance. So immediately we want to write up D equals RT. And we want to talk about what we know. Well, it says that she covered 12 miles. So we know that was the total distance. So that's D. Okay, we know she was walking 3 miles per hour. Okay, well 3 mph, which a lot of you know as miles per hour. You see that on the road signs all the time. Well, that is your rate. Okay, that's a rate of travel. So we can plug in 12. We can come over here and write in 3, and then we're just looking for the time. So how many hours, since it was in hours up here, how many hours did she walk? So we're going to divide both sides by 3, and we get 4 equals t, which means that she walked for 4 hours. Okay, we've been just plugging things in. Now we could have come up here from the previous video, and since we want to know time, we could divide by r, and we could get d over r equals t, and we could plug all this information directly to here, and you'll notice that it's exactly what's right here. Okay, so here we do the work prior, and then we plug in and solve. Here we just plugged in the knowns. It's just a little more familiar over here, so that's why I did it that way. But this way, if we want to rewrite using literal equations like we did in the last video. Okay, so here's some practice problems, and again, here's some values that they're asking you to solve for. So you're asked to solve for y, x, b, and f. Okay, so give those a shot, see what you can do, and rewrite those problems. Again, you're not solving for anything, you're just rewriting for what they asked you to rewrite. Okay, so you shouldn't have just a single value. Okay, and that's it of that video. Again, look up on Google Sites for my webpage, or tweet me at @AMathNerd.